Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this Anova webinar. I'm Bridget Perino, SVP of Customer Growth at Anova. We appreciate you signing in for our event today. It's exciting to have you all here on the call today. There's clearly a lot of interest in learning how to increase delivery yield in BevCarb distribution, and to that end also how Anova solutions have been helping customers, our BevCarb distributors, do just that. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll be guiding you through some of the challenges facing the industry and how technology is helping drive new efficiencies. Our BevCarb experts will also be highlighting this with the demonstration, how this technology solution provides new efficiencies, optimization, and has been driving greater yield with fewer miles driven. So let's please make this session interactive and useful for you. Please use your Q&A facility on your webinar controls. Just hover on the bottom there if you don't see those to ask a question, and feel free. We're happy to take questions at any point during the webinar. We'll bring in our speakers to respond to those if they're relevant of the moment. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions. We also have some poll questions for you throughout the session, just to make it more interesting and interactive. And we have an audience Q&A at the end as well. So finally, there's also an exit survey. We'd love to know if you found the session relevant today, and also if you'd like more information on some of the key topics. So you can participate in all of this using your webinar controls, and that exit survey will simply pop up when you leave. Please do take a moment to rate the event and tell us what you found most relevant for your organization. So let's get right down to it. I'm delighted today to introduce my colleagues, Mike Waters, who is the Distributor Sales Manager, and Dave Mack, our applications engineer for distributors in Anova. Mike has over 30 years in the industrial gas business industry and is managing sales for our distributors at Anova. Dave Mack, similarly experienced, is an application sales engineer with over 25 years of telemetry experience. And together, they make a powerful team and are central to why customers working with Anova feel that we are their partner, not just a vendor. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be here, Bridget.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Bridget.
I'm excited to have you both on the phone and be able to share your knowledge and expertise with the folks tuning in today. So before I pass off to you, we'd like to run a quick audience poll. We have 3 quick questions, so it's one poll, and I think this will help everyone get a feel for who's on the line today. So let's bring up that poll. You'll see that there are 3 questions that will pop up. You'll need to use the little slide bar to scroll down, but basically we're asking, how many assets are you currently serving in your business? How many fill stations do you utilize today? And what type of customers do you serve? So we've got a few ranges there. We can have our poll up. Okay, we see a few of you are waiting to vote. Let's get those votes in. Use your webinar controls. And there's a little gray slider there. You can scroll down to see the other 3 questions. Now we've got a shy audience today. Oh, there we go. Someone's found it. Let's get a few votes in here, folks, and see if we can wrap this up. We've only got about 14 of you so far, so 14% so far. Let's see if we can get a few more votes in here. All right. We've got a few numbers on the top and the bottom. We'll give it one more second here, and then we'll share those results with you. It's just helpful as always to see, if you've got like-minded folks on the line or people in similar state as you. So let's share those results now, please. So 100% of our audience has less than 3,000 assets that they serve. So that's interesting, guys. As you walk through the presentation, let's make sure we cater to these folks on the call today. Also, in terms of number of fill stations, we've got a good mix here of 1 to 3, and also 11 to 25. It looks like it's a 50-50 split there, which is interesting in our audience. And then finally, we've got a split between all of the above and also local businesses. So that's great information. Thanks for sharing that. I hope that's useful for you as well, just to get a sense of the folks who are tuning in for this sort of a session as well. Okay, so with that, I'd like to actually pass off to our team. Mike Waters is going to kick us off with his presentation, and we're going to walk you through, as we said, some of the challenges, some of the solutions that are out there, and also provide a demo today. So thank you so much for that. Mike, hand over to you.
Hello, everyone. We're glad that you could join our webinar to learn about our Anova BevCarb telemetry solutions. Anova is a global company that started back in 1989. We have thousands of customers worldwide and millions of monitored assets. This shows our locations worldwide. We support our customers from around the world, monitoring their assets in IG, industrial gas, propane, chemicals, and fuels and lubes markets. We have 2 manufacturing facilities, one here in New Providence, New Jersey, and the other one, and I'm going to butcher this, I know, in I gotta look, where's the Germany? Kaiserslautern, Germany.
Yes. You didn't butcher it too bad.
No. Today's supply chain and logistics challenges for the BevCarb industry. We can easily all acknowledge these key challenges by what is pictured here on this slide. First off, with the cost of diesel fuel, wasted mileage is definitely cost prohibitive just to drive around with the old milk runs. Wasted driver time and labor. As me and Dave have traveled the United States, we hear everywhere we go how our customers are short on drivers, therefore wasting their time and efforts is very costly. The other thing that's top on the list is customer runouts. It leads to our customers wanting to take a look at other competitors, and it's also costly to have to do a special run in the event that a customer runs out. The other thing that I mentioned there earlier is driver availability. Again, as me and Dave have traveled the country, we find out that it is extremely hard to hire a driver even at higher wages than normal. The driver availability just isn't there. And lastly, as we all know, in dealing in the CO2 industry for years, CO2 availability. Every fall before the harvest, the ethanol plants, especially out here in the Midwest, shut down, and CO2 supply becomes extremely difficult to acquire.
Hey, Mike, I just want to add one thing real quick. And this is just today's day and age is high fuel costs too.
Yep.
You know, that is something that you really want to pay attention to. And we can optimize your efficiency there as well.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Why Anova? Well, as we said early in the start, we've been in the industry since 1989. So we have 30 plus years of remote monitoring. We have and have developed connectivity either via your mobile device or your laptop computer, and with all those, with that ability to be able to connect to your assets, we can then help you forecast to set up deliveries to control your costs. Our software platform, Transcend, has been revitalized the past couple years, and we believe that it is the top of the line platform that helps you manage your business and provide in the next little segment there, business intelligence to help you run your business. We now are offering hardware as a service. That is a cost-effective way to acquire our hardware and data. And essentially it provides you with no upfront capital costs to be able to acquire that hardware and data. And we believe that we are the industry leader in innovation, and our Transcend app or platform is proof of that. So for our distributors, what does Anova do? Anova Solutions drive new efficiencies, profitability by better analytics, smarter maintenance, being able to take care of your assets, and superior customer service. All that adds to profitability and a competitive edge in customer service. The cost benefit of what using telemetry to control your costs and improve your ROI. First off, we believe that by using telemetry, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this, that we can decrease 50% of runouts by utilizing telemetry. We can increase average payload by 20%. So instead of the milk runs where maybe you squirt a couple pounds in a tank because you're headed that direction, hopefully by monitoring those assets, you can come up with routes that will increase your payload by at least 20%. While increasing your payload, you're going to reduce mileage. You're making less trips because you're adding more pounds into the tank. And finally, you'll be able to optimize your driver count and reach. You won't have to maybe buy a new bulk delivery truck or add a driver to accommodate your sales growth. Our hardware.
I like that picture, Mike.
Yeah,
you are our hardware.
Our beverage CO2 product offering has changed a little bit over the course of the last few months. Some of you may be more familiar with our blue-faced BCX 100 unit, but we are converting over to what now will be called our DPW 125 two-channel telemetry unit, a little bit more rectangular in shape, a little bit smaller in size, with still the same functionality that the BCW 100 series had. What the sensors that we can connect to are the Chart WECA differential pressure sensor, as well as our own Anova differential pressure and pressure sensor. You can see the Chart WECA DP pictured in the center of those sensors up there on the right-hand side of the page. Additionally, we have C-sticks or capacitance probe. Those are for tanks like the old Duracell series that only have the float gauge in the middle without any differential pressure capability, that go down through the middle of the tank, and we're able to pick up our signal for our telemetry unit from the C-stick. Last but not least are our load cells pictured on the far right. Those are essentially can be used underneath not only your flat bottom, but your leg style liquid CO2 canisters, and weigh the product for a very accurate measurement. The DPW 125 will give you hourly readings with daily transmissions. It is battery operated only with a 2 D-cell lithium battery that is replaceable, 5-year battery life. These are all upgraded to the current 4G LTE cellular network. All the usage rate alarms and level alarms are available as they were with the BCX 100. You can mount it on the wall, or you can hang it from the ring of the liquid can, and it can work in conjunction with our scheduler for efficient route planning. Pictured here is the chart and/or Anova DP sensor. You can see it there on the top of the can. It's easy to replace in the field if it is not a telemetry ready unit like what you see pictured there on the top of the can with the connection at the bottom of the analog gauge. It takes approximately 15 minutes to change out, and there are isolation valves which allow you to do that in the field. It is accurate to plus or minus 5%. It comes on current chart tank offerings, but you have to specifically request the telemetry ready version. And by the way, because there has been some confusion in the past, it comes in two different formats. It either comes in a 0 to 5 volt format or a 4 to 20 milliamp version. Our DPW 125 uses the 0 to 5 volt power. Like I say, quick and easy to change out in the field and retrofit.
I just wanted to add one more thing, Mike, to that is, again, we went with the 0 to 5 volt option because it's a lot more, it's a lot better with battery life. Uses a lot less better than 420 milliamp does.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Here is another top view picture of the Weka DP on the top of the tank. So you can see how it works. And then directly adjacent to it there on the right is a picture of the new DPW 125, again, 2-channel unit capable of either just monitoring the liquid level and or liquid and pressure. This is a picture of a capacitance probe in the middle of the old Duracell style tank. The capacitance probe can go down through the middle of the tank and replace the old float gauge or analog gauge that's in the middle of it. Plus, it's accurate to plus or minus 2%. Long track record. They're easily transportable, going back and forth on trucks if you need to, where all you have to do is hook the cable from the DP125 to get it to show what's in the tank. If there are cons to this particular type of sensor, it is that the tanks do need to be taken out of service, and that the probes, the capacitance probes, are specific to tank size and length. Next pictured are load cells. Again, as I explained, there is a flat bottom style for your flat bottom style CO2 tanks, and there is the leg style. Accurate to plus or minus 5%. The tank does not need to be taken out of service. No plumbing is required. The wires that you see coming off the load cells hook directly into the bottom of the DPW 125. If there are cons, it's the fact that it's probably a 2-man installation, maximum weight capacity of 1,500 pounds. And the other thing is, as we've all visited some of our convenience stores or fast food locations where they use the top of your tank as a place to store boxes, coats, and stuff like that, which does have a negative effect on the accuracy of what's in the tank.
Indeed.
Here is a picture of what I was talking about. You got the leg style on the left, and essentially the load cell not only mounts and bolts to the legs, it also bolts to the floor, so it is very secure. Most definitely a need when it comes to McDonald's and other fast food places where you want the tank secured to the floor. On the right is the flat bottom style. Indeed, for your flat bottom tanks, it does have a stop so that the tank fits securely on top of the 3 pads, and you just space them out equally. We do suggest, however, that you do chain the tank to the wall so that no accidents happen in relation to the tank being knocked over.
And let me just add one thing here too, is again, we've heard many questions at times that you need to be cognizant of weather. And if these tanks are outside, as far as weather goes, are they weather resistant? Yes, they are.
Yep, they are stainless steel construction.
Yep.
Additionally, we're able to utilize our load cells and can design any type of scale platform that meets your application. Here you can see that this is a medical oxygen unit on wheels. We designed that platform to fit that tank specifically, so we're not wasting floor space. We also have the ability to design the ramp that goes along with it so that it's not a tough situation for your delivery driver to be able to get it on top of the scale. You can also see that there are stops built in on 3 sides of the scale platform to stop the cylinder so it doesn't go off the end. It can be a 2-man installation, again, with 1,500 pounds capacity. And we can design to any particular application. A couple that come to mind is we had a customer that wanted to be able to nest 5 50-pound CO2 cylinders together and not take up a lot of floor space. So we designed a triangular shaped scale specific for that application. And another application was 150-pound old fire suppression like type cylinder, where we made the scale 14 inches square in diameter in size.
And as Mike said, one of the things that I want to just go ahead and add here too is again, if there are unicorns out there or unique situations, we're very easy to deal with. We are here to suit your needs, and please don't hesitate to bring those type of questions to Mike or I, and we can develop a solution for you.
All right, we've got another quick poll here, just to keep it lively. Can we bring up the next poll, please? This is about what types of tanks are you servicing? And if you scroll down, it's also got a question here about the % of monitoring that you're doing on those tanks today. So just take a moment with your webinar controls, please, and give us a good sense of who's already kind of dipped their foot into the, finding more yield through telemetry pool, and those who may not have. So just take a moment to select the type of tanks that you've got there, and on the first one, and scrolling down to whether or not you're doing any monitoring. Interesting, we've got some a good mix coming in here from a few of the folks. We'll give it another couple of seconds. Okay, let's share those results with everyone. So you can see we've got kind of a broad spread across cylinders down to all the way down to bulk on that one. And scrolling down, the results also kind of split between the folks that are doing little or no tank telemetry. So that's kind of exciting, because it's a huge opportunity to make a big difference in your business. By adding telemetry, it really drives all sorts of efficiencies, and as we'll see from the as you're seeing from the discussion here, yield, and then also some that are doing 10 to 20%, which is pretty significant amount to be monitoring, depending on your size of company. So thank you all for sharing that with the group today. We appreciate that. Let's move on then. Actually, I'm going to introduce or come back to Dave, who's going to walk us through, Dave, some of the software that helps people really, drive yield, increasing yield, and how you do that with the software here. Thank you, Dave.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for that nice introduction, Bridget. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the ease in the wonderful world of Transcend. And then we're going to also go ahead and take a look at the mobile app. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and bring you into the demo. So Valerie, I need access to the share.
We actually have a few slides to walk through first and then the
Oh,
demo at the end, or
okay.
did you want to flip the order? Up to you. Um,
We could definitely, actually, let's flip the order. That's fine.
All right. Okay.
Let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll take you through the wonderful world of Transcend. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Looks
Okay,
good.
perfect. Okay, so basically when you log into Transcend, this is going to be the landing page that you're going to actually enter in. It's our asset summary screen, and it's going to go ahead and show you a list of the assets that you're currently monitoring. And it's going to go ahead and show you the latest, greatest time and information. So if you take a look at this asset right here at a high level, you could see that the reading time was 5:23. The last reading was 77.2% full, and it's CO2. Another key area that we really like to show is the deliverable amount, because again, this is where you're going to be able to go in and you're going to be able to fill your bobtails with the appropriate amount of CO2, and then actually deliver to these devices. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drill in to one of these assets here. So I can go ahead and share that with you. I'm going to go ahead and drill into this one. And essentially, once you drill into it, it's going to give you a little bit more detail of what's happening at that tank. We can actually take a look at history. There is a forecasting feature that we can go ahead and show you and that you can utilize. As far as the details go, you can actually see the detail page here with the actual graph and the levels moving up and down. The key features here are our reorder level, our critical level, and our empty level, because what's going to happen is these levels are actually going to be programmed down to the device itself. The device is going to wake up every hour. It's going to check its level, and then the device is going to determine whether or not I'm going to transmit that information into Transcend and notify people, or not. I go back to sleep and I just store my data till my next physical login. So the one thing that I wanted to mention is that our devices are really truly like robots. They're out there, we program them, they're standalone, cellular based. They wake up, they stick the tank, and then they make that decision as to whether or not to call in, notify people, and that of that nature. These levels can be adjusted to really whatever you need them to be, and they can be adjusted on the fly. So if you wanted to go ahead and change some things for a month or whatever, it's a busy season and I wanted to go ahead and readjust my reorder level, I could do that. It's as easily as clicking on that value, the pen and pencil there, and then it brings me into a pull down screen here where I can go ahead and make modifications. Okay. Other things that are really important: site notes, asset notes. This is where you can go ahead and specify the site note as to maybe you can only deliver to this company between 8 and 10 a.m. Again, very, very important for a driver to have that information. And asset notes is we only fill this asset to 90% full. So again, these are areas that you can go ahead and populate to use, with the mobile app and or have your drivers take a look at. The other thing I wanted to show down here at the bottom, so again, you have the graph here that you can look at, and then you have the actual level and battery channels that are being displayed here for you. So you're going to see the latest reading, and you're going to be able to see the latest battery level of the monitor. So you can, one, it's calling out. Two, you have additional battery voltage to go ahead and operate. You can look at history here. I can look at 1 day, 2 day. Right now I have 12 weeks of data up because again, you can actually see the empties. This unit notified the user to go ahead and it's time for delivery. They actually delivered. And as you can see, this pattern, this is actually a very, very good pattern, very, very efficient pattern for users to be following. The other thing I wanted to make a note here real quick is this area here is the forecasting. And the forecasting basically allows us, based off of historical data, we basically will go ahead and forecast as to what we think the next reorder point and the next critical and empty will be. Okay, and again, that's all based off of historical data. Okay, that takes us pretty much through the details. You can actually drill into the actual data that themselves. You can actually download all this information into Excel. So you can bring it into Excel and you can go ahead and massage that data however you would like. We could go ahead and give you as much data as you want. And as you can see, very easily gotten to. Okay. So going back to the main screen here, I wanted to go ahead and talk about just some of the other nice features we have here. So within the asset summary, I have a show filters option here to where I could go ahead and I could say, right now I'm looking at all of my tanks that I want to, that regardless of if they're full, if they're normal, empty, or reorder, but I could actually easily change that by going into the inventory status, deselecting all, selecting, I only want to really pay attention to my reorders, criticals, and empties. I select that, and then I apply that, and this will only give me that data that I see. So very quick, very easily, you have your people that are dispatching in the morning. They could pull this up and they could say, hey, these are the tanks that I need to attack. I need to fill today. Okay, the other things that I wanted to go ahead and show is I wanted to go ahead and show this navigator. So basically you have the view of asset summary. If I click on the navigator screen, this is another view that you could go ahead and use within Transcend. And as soon as it loads up here, I will show you. So essentially what you're going to see is you're going to see pretty much the same thing you saw within asset summary, but a little bit more of a visual view. You've got how full we think the tanks are. And then as you can see over to the right here, we actually display the actual data. You don't have to drill into the tank. It's actually going to be there. So if I click on Bass Burgers, it'll go ahead and pull that up, and then you'll see that same information I showed you once I drilled into the tank in the asset summary section. So again, another way for you to actually go ahead and view the data within, easily view the data within Transcend. The last one I really like the most, and it's the map view. You click on the map view, and again, this is going to show you your entire population within the on a map. And again, as you can see, as I scrolled in, you'll see these little teardrops, these little bubbles. They'll start giving me a little bit more information. What this circle bubble is saying is I have 47 assets in this area that I can take a look at. You'll see as I expand that bubble, that circle will go ahead and start populating into these teardrops. So again, I'll zoom in and you see it actually changed. Here's a little bit more. Now I can actually start seeing a lot more of my data and a lot more of my tanks. And again, this is the actual data that's in the tank. So I could see this one's at 30%, that one's at 18%. The blue ones, we haven't reached a reorder or critical area. So again, they're gonna remain in blue. Other really neat features of the map is, again, you can see on this 9 bubble here, I could tell that I've got 9 tanks there. I've got a percentage of those tanks that are in reorder, and I've got a percentage of those tanks that are in critical, indicated by the colors around the ring. Okay, so if I zoom in a little bit more, those will start to populate, and then I'll be able to see those tanks. Now, if you don't want to have to worry about seeing all of that data, your dispatchers only want to see criticals, reorders, and empties. What they just need to do is they deselect, simple as that, deselect that, and I select, I want to see reorders, criticals, and empties. And then as you can see, the list of tanks actually significantly decreased. And these are the areas that I need to address or need to deliver to. And then Again, I could go ahead and click on a value. This will bring me into the details of that tank. And then if I wanted to further take a look at more details, I can click on details and it'll bring me back into that page where I can actually see the tank data. I'm looking at 4 days here. If I click back 12 weeks, this will go ahead and expand my graph and it will show my graph. And that's all I have for the transcend piece of my demonstration. Bridget, did we want to take any questions here at this point or no? We want me to continue on to the mobile app?
Why don't you just jump over to the mobile app? I think people would like to see how that works as well. And
Perfect.
a little context about who uses it, when, and so forth. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me go ahead and flip over to that screen. Stop sharing. Share screen.
But we did actually have one question that came in. So while you're getting set up there, let's pose this to either of you. How much visibility to the data can I get from your software for high usage customers? That's a
You
question.
want to take that, Dave, or you want me to?
Go ahead, Mike. I'm going to get set up here.
So with our battery operated units, normally they call in once a day and they record what's happening in the tank every hour during that time frame. That 1 to 2 calls a day with all that data coming either to your phone or to your desktop, the battery life is expected to be 5 years. You can have it make a second call during the day. Some people like 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, and you don't hurt the battery life, but somewhere between 4 and 5 years of battery life. Now, our system is capable of taking a tank reading every 5 minutes, if that's what you want, and recording it while still only calling in once or twice a day. You can still see that what's happened in the tank in 5-minute intervals. Of course, if you cross any of your alert lines, the unit will wake up and automatically send you notification of that alert. Additionally, some people only have 3 alerts set up in their system. You can have up to 8 alerts per tank that can give you all the data you want to be able to monitor a high use customer.
Also, I just wanted to go ahead and add, that was great, Mike. I also wanted to add that there are usage type alerts that you can go ahead and add as well. So again, if it comes into a busy season and you want to really keep track of a tank, you could basically say their normal usage is 10% a day. You can actually put in a usage that says anything greater than 10% that day, or 24 hours or a week or whatever. We could go ahead and set those usage rate alerts up, and we will go ahead and notify you on those usage rates as well.
Great, thanks
Yeah,
both
thanks
of you.
for picking up on that, Dave.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I hope that answers your question, Paul. If you have any other questions, anyone out there, just drop them into the Q&A facility. If you're not seeing it on your window, just hover near the bottom. There's 3 dots. If it doesn't pop up, it'll be on a sub menu. If it doesn't, if your screen's not big enough to show all of the choices. But thank you for that question. Thanks for the response, guys. Back to you, Dave, with your mobile phone. I see you got a call in the middle of all of that. So well handled.
Exactly. I'm like,
here.
delete, or I could have picked it up and handle it. The only other thing I wanted to add before we go to the mobile app is on the device itself. So really the thing that you just really need to be cautious of is these are battery operated only units. So the more we power up that radio and transmit the information, the less the battery life is going to be. So just that's my caveat to, giving you as much data as we can. But the thing is there's a trade-off. A lot of data, less battery life; fewer data or a little bit less data, longer battery life. Okay, with that being said, I want to go ahead and show you the mobile, our mobile asset viewer. And again, this can be really given to anybody. It could be given to drivers, it can be given to salespeople, whatever it is, unlimited users, those type of things. And this is going to show you kind of the same thing that you're going to see in Transcend, a little bit more of an abridged version, because it needs to be able to render on the phone properly. And again, this can go either for Android phones, Apple phones, you name it. It pretty much is suited for everything. But again, what you see here is you see when you log into the mobile app, it's going to go ahead and give you first off your list of events, and these are your events, your greatest events or the most recent events that you have that you really need to pay attention to. So as you can see in this one, Knife River is empty. So hopefully somebody's going to go out and fill that tank today. And again, you've got some that will show you that one has been filled, one's in reorder, those type of things. So again, really kind of focuses your attention on the assets that need attention. Now, to actually navigate the mobile app is very, very simple. All you need to do is, if I wanted to go ahead and take a look at all my assets, I click on or I press on that magnifying glass, and that will bring me into my list of assets. And by simply scrolling up and down with my finger, I can actually see all my tank levels, the ones that are in alarm and alert, and things like that. If I wanted to drill in to get a little bit more detail of the data, all I do is I just tap on the tank, and as you can see, I clicked on BevCarb caustic potash. It brings me up into the tank, and I can actually see the tank level, the last time the unit called, and my battery volts, just like you saw within Transcend. Now I want to go ahead and take a look a little bit more of the history. I just tap on the tank itself. It'll go ahead and drill me into the graph, and it again will show me what I'm currently at now. It'll go ahead and show me my forecast, things like this. If you want to look at more data, all you have to do is just go ahead and tap on I'm clicking on the 1 month worth of data. It's going to go ahead and load, and there you have it. Now you can see the trendings up and down on that graph. So again, gives you full visibility to all your tanks, and also the mobile app will also notify you if something does go into alarm or alert. Maybe a little bit different than the email side of it, but this will go ahead and also alarm and alert you based off of your alarm and alert levels. The other thing you can do is, if you don't want to look at all of your tanks on the screen, you only want to focus them down, I could go ahead and click on my filter option. This will bring me into the different ways I can filter. I can filter on customer, location, and or if I tap on product, here's all my products. I click on one type of product, it will filter my tanks based off of product. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of there. Again, it brings you into the find asset page. You have a watch list where I can go ahead and I can assign tanks watch lists, and these are ones I want to watch closely for whatever reason it might be. As you can see, as soon as I clicked on watch list, 2 of these came up because these are the ones I want to focus on and I want to pay attention to. Another way of filtering. And then I've got recently viewed and then events. You can click on events. That'll drill you into all your events, both current and past events. Again, very simple. I tend to always kind of cut myself short and saying I'm not a really true technical person, but again, I can navigate that. If I was to load a game on my phone, it takes me forever, and sometimes not at all. But again, to run this and run the Transcend application, very, very simple, very, very easy to get to your data.
Thanks a lot, Dave. I've spoken to some of the distributors directly myself, and I know that the drivers love this app. In fact, in some cases, I've heard from distributors that the drivers actually use the app so easily and so well that sometimes they're spotting errors in the schedule they've been given. Somebody's been missed, or somebody's on the route that shouldn't be on the route, because they've got that information right in hand on the go. So that's great. Well, let's jump back. We've got a couple of slides on just to wrap up and just do a quick recap of what you've actually seen from Dave. And we've got another poll out there as well. We'll take some questions.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Dave.
let's, oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and move on. Valerie will just take you through this. And again, this slide is pretty much talking about Anova Transcend, our web-based platform. Again, it really is going to show you the data that the device is, sending to you, that robot is sending to you into the system. And then you can go ahead and track alerts, you can map it, you can see the health of the tank itself, you can track analytics, you can track fills and empties. And again, it's as easy as just going into the application and looking at it, and then having your dispatchers going in, taking a look at the graph and saying, okay, I did reach a reorder point. It is now time for me to go out and fill, rather than, like Mike stated at the beginning, you don't want to be going out and doing the milk runs, because then you're not efficient. You're starting up a truck, you're wasting fuel, you're wasting, employees' time just to go ahead and fill up that tank 10%. Not very efficient at all. And again, this is an example of the screen that I went ahead and displayed, giving you all that data. And again, okay, yeah, thanks. Mike, do you want to take this one?
I can. So, what impact does Anova have on your business? The main thing is, we're hopeful that we can reduce your overall costs as it relates to fuel and man hours and all of the above. With the mobile asset tracking, your drivers are out there, as Dave talked about and Bridget did, to be able to take a look at it in the palm of your hand and be able to determine if you need to go to a specific customer that may have not been on the schedule that day. It prevents runouts by utilizing our data. You can then use the data to analyze your business. Dave spoke briefly about, we can give you any kind of report that you need to be able to manage your business. And we can even do one-offs if there's something that you specifically need to see in relation to being able to manage your assets. And health and safety and sustainability of when managing your business, to be able to drive fewer miles, not put people, in danger from being on the highway, all of the above. Nothing but good can come of being able to monitor your assets with telemetry. This is a customer success story by being able to utilize our telemetry. We've got a very good customer that saw the benefit and the return on investment by managing all his BevCarb assets. The customer has a large client base in the hospitality business and wanted to become more efficient and better serve his customers. Anova remote monitoring units to help them monitor those customers and alert the customer, as well as their own personnel, to be able to manage that customer in the event of increased usage or some type of a leak in the system. Being able to use what we have already built into Transcend, you can be able to schedule your delivery trucks to better serve your customers and negate any runouts. And again, the mobile app allows anybody that you so desire, your drivers, your sales staff, the customer, to be able to monitor what's happening in your CO2 tank at any time of the day or night.
All right. Thank you both. We have our final poll for the audience. So if we can just bring that up, please. This one is about what most hinders your monitoring tank telemetry ROI. There's a lot of reasons that even if you have some tank telemetry out there, that you may not be able to really maximize the investment on that for various reasons. Not sure you may not be covering everybody. You're not sure where to put the monitors. We can help with that. We can take a look at the information and identify those guys that are quite unpredictable in the usage patterns, and that's where you have the highest risk of runout, as one example there. Or you may not have the staff available to do it. So there are various reasons that people have about that one. So let's give it another second for anyone else to jump on with those results. And okay, let's share those results. Interesting results here. Let's take a look at those. So getting it out there, time is taking too long. That's interesting. Actually, even Stephen, across all of these here, not sure where to place them. It's a common issue. Not everyone goes right out the bat monitoring 100%. With our hardware as a service pricing model, you can certainly have that opportunity a lot easier, but not everyone goes that route. So where to put them is always a tricky question. We can help with that information. We actually have some tools to look at delivery data as well. And I know I've heard this from the team in BevCarb, from Mike and Dave themselves, not being able to pass on the cost to the customer. So see that it's interesting to see that one popping up from our audience. There's definitely a benefit in the better customer service that you can offer. The case study there, that particular gentleman I've spoken to as well. One of the great things is, kind of the satisfaction and pride he gets. We can call up a customer and say, hey, we've noticed something about your tank or your level, or leak or whatever. And that's going above and beyond. And that's what really differentiates this gentleman in a very competitive space that he's working within in BevCarb distribution. So, there's always a trade-off between, having the right information and insight to never run them out, and also to offer that extra level of customer care that they so appreciate. Okay, let's stop sharing those results, and I think we're going to move right on now, please, to final section. I mentioned hardware as a service. Mike, we've got just a few minutes left. If you could very quickly, before we get into a Q&A, kind of just tell us what this hardware as a service thing is all about, or tell the folks on the call what this is all about. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Bridget. As Bridget just alluded to, we had briefly mentioned this earlier on in our presentation, and we are proud to have started this hardware as a service a little over a year ago, maybe going on 2 years, which essentially means that you can acquire any of our hardware and data without any upfront capital cost at all. It is like a monthly subscription to be able to acquire the hardware, and most especially the data to help manage your assets. How does it work? With a 5-year agreement, or that can be adjusted, we essentially list all the different types of hardware that may benefit your business to help you manage it. And there is a low monthly fee in the case of some of the BevCarb like type. It can be as low as $12 to $17 a month, depending upon whether you just need the telemetry unit or whether you need sensors to make this work. So you get everything with that. There is no monthly data fee. Again, no upfront capital costs to acquire the hardware. So you get our hardware, you get our software, you get our communications, integration and support. For the life of the agreement, whatever that term is, we will replace the hardware at no charge unless you, which I say in my presentations, hit it with a hammer. So if technology changes, if something happens to that unit, it is replaced at no charge. You, however, do have to make that change out to make that happen, but it costs you absolutely nothing to be able to do that. So included in hardware as a service, the monitoring hardware and sensors if you need, deployment guidance, how do I set this stuff up, communication and hosting, if you need our technical support to be involved with that, absolutely, it'll be there. You get our software, you get the mobile app, you get API integration. I know that was one of the questions that came up. How do I take care of getting all this information to either my customer or to myself? And then our technical support comes along with that. What is now optional, and I'm glad to be able to announce this, that we are wanting to move in to help you install the hardware to relieve some of the anxiety and or the lack of manpower to be able to do that. A lot of you, as we saw in your questionnaires, have thousands of assets that are not monitored at all. The manpower alone on your part to be able to go out and afford on top of the cost of the hardware to be able to get the telemetry units installed is quite burdensome. We are willing to help you with that, and that is negotiable within the context of the hardware as a service. And accessories such as mounting, sensors, whatever, antennas, whatever the case may be, is also optional as well.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. That brings us to the questions section. We have had a few questions that have come in. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, hover near the bottom of the screen. You'll see the Q&A box there, and just send us a note. We are recording the session, and we'll be sending out the recording to everybody. But we've got 3 minutes left. We've got a couple quick questions here. First one is, how does Anova differ from other similar hardware offerings from other folks that are in the telemetry space?
What makes Anova different is this. We have been in existence for the longest period of time. All our telemetry units have a digital display. They are battery operated, especially in the CO2 space, 5-year battery life, multiple sensors that can work with our units. And
they're standalone.
Yes, thanks, Dave. If you want to jump in, please.
Yeah, sure. They're standalone, and that's, I think, really one of the key features that I really like to talk about is, again, the unit is out there. You program it. Once it's programmed, the unit's going to just act like a person out at that tank, sticking that tank however often you need it to, and then notifying you if there's something you need to be notified about, or just send you the data at certain times.
All right, thanks, guys. We have time for one last question here, and the question is from Doug. He says, is there a limit as to how many people can get access to the software?
You want to handle that, Davey?
It's unlimited. Again, there is no limit as far as the number of users and or the number of people accessing the application on the mobile app. And also what we'll do is we'll be able to kind of restrict people to be able to only see things that they need to see, their own tanks. And you're able to go ahead and allow users, admins, to go ahead and see different things as like that. But again, there is no limit to the number of users.
To add to Dave's comments, whether it's your your drivers, your operational people, logistics people, the sales staff that wants visibility to their specific customers, or your customers that want access to the asset. All of that is available.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you all for joining us today. And thank you to our experts for what a wealth of information you've shared with everyone today. Feel free to reach out to our team. It's dave.mack@Anova or mike.waters@Anova if you'd like to ask them any questions directly. I'm sure they'd be happy to do that. And as you exit, please don't forget, we've got a quick 2-question survey. How relevant was the session for you today? And the other questions about what sorts of things would you like to learn more about? Again, I hope you did find it relevant. We look forward to your feedback. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and for joining us on this Anova webinar series, improving yield and BevCarb delivery. Thank you all and have a great rest of day. Bye-bye.
Thank
Hey
you.
guys, thank you.
Bye guys, thank you.
Bye-bye.